Good morning, my friends. It's Friday, June the 5th, and today in math, we're just looking at a review of how we can use strategies to add and subtract with numbers between 10 and 20. So I have out for us today, and we're just going to do some samples to remind ourselves the strategies that we're using for doubles, for counting one more or one less, two more or two less, or three more or three less, a number line for counting forwards and backwards, and some dice for just remembering dice dots and creating equations. And we're going to just go ahead and try some of those examples, and then you can play some games that would help you to practice those, or do some of the mixed math worksheets that I'll post for you if you want to. You can just join me for a reminder of what strategies we would be using to do some addition with higher numbers in the teens. So let's look at our numbers, our double sets first. So what I did is I arranged my cards so that I had two of each number between 5 and 10, because if I double those, the answers are between 10 and 20, and those are the ones we're going to be practicing today. So you can set your cards up like this, and then you can stack them up, or you can just flip one card and say the double of it is. So if we went very quickly through, 5 plus 5 is 10. 7 plus 7 is 14, 9 plus 9 is 18, 6 plus 6 is 12, 8 plus 8 is 16, and 10 plus 10 is 20. We always have an even number when we add two of the same numbers together, and our doubles always have that even number. So my friends, you can put them into random order or practice them in the same order, and you can flip them very quickly to say 9 plus 9 is 18. And if I said 9 plus 9 is 18, then I can use that knowledge if I ever saw the question 18 minus 9. I know that it would have to equal 9. Let me grab my eraser. If I flipped the cards 10 plus 10, then I could have the equation or answer. If I knew that, I could answer the question 10 plus 10 equals 20, but I could also quickly answer the question 20 minus 10 using these digits in my number bond to say that would equal, wrong number written down, that would equal 10. So if I know my doubles, I can answer the addition question, but I can also answer this subtraction question. If my double was 7 plus 7, then I know that the equation I would be writing is 7 plus 7 equals 14. And if I know that, I could also solve 14 minus 7 equals 7. If the double I flipped was an 8 plus 8, then I could say 8 plus 8 equals 16. But I also know that 16 minus 8 equals 8. If I found the double 5 plus 5, we know that 5 plus 5 equals 10, but that also means I know 10 minus 5 equals 5. Good going, my friends. And the last one I have is 6 plus 6, and we use that a lot when we're playing games. Sometimes you have to roll double 6 to start a game. So we know that 6 plus 6 equals 12, and that would also mean that 12 minus 6 equals 6. Oh, nice job, my friends. So one of the things we can help us to do equations is to know our double facts very quickly, and then we can do equations that are frontwards and backwards, adding and subtracting equations using those double facts. The next strategy I want to do is one more or one less. So let's say I had the number 1, and my number was 17. And I think I'm going to show you my 17 this way. So 10 and 7, we know that is 17. So if I had 17 plus 1 or minus 1, I'm just going to count up or count down. So I have 17 plus 1, that's 1 more, that's 18. And 17 minus 1, that's 1 less, so that's 16. Any other numbers I have with a plus 1 or a minus 1? 16, remember 16 is a 10 and a 6, and we write it like that. 16 plus 1 is just 1 more at 17, and 16 minus 1 it's one less counting backwards at 15. We'll just do one more of those, my friends. If I have this number, 19, 19 plus 1, counting forwards, is 20, and 19 minus 1, counting backwards or counting down, would be 18. So anytime we see a plus or minus 1, we're just going to count up or back by 1. But what if we see a plus or minus 2? We can still use counting up or back. And if I had this question with 19, it would be 19 plus 2 or 19 minus 2. 19 plus 2 is 20, 21. And 19 minus 2 is 18, 17. Counting the two items backwards. Let's say I had the question 15 plus 2, or I had the question 15 minus 2. Remember, I can count up or back with two things. So from 15, I would say, well, that's a very bad 2. I'm just going to rearrange that for you so it looks nice when you're looking at it. We would say 15 plus 2, 16, 17 for my answer. And 15 minus 2 would be 14, 13 for my answer. We'll do one more with plus or minus 2, and then we'll look at counting up and counting back for plus or minus 3. Let's say I have the number 18 plus 2, and I have my two objects, or I have number 18 minus 2. I can count up to get the answer 18 plus 2 by saying 19, 20. Or I can count backwards from 18, saying 17, 16 to get the answer 18 minus 2. Good going, my friends. I can use count up and count back again if I have 3 in the numbers plus or minus 3. So if it was 18 plus 3 or 18 minus 3, I can imagine 3 objects, or I can put out 3 objects, or I can hold up 3 fingers, and I can say 18 plus 3 would be 18, 19, 20, 21. And if I want to say 18 minus 3, I'm going to count backwards from 18, 17, 16, 15. So the answer is 15. If your number, plus or minus, is higher than 3, don't use count on or count back. That only works really well if the numbers are 1, 2, or 3. In that case, my friends, you're going to use a number line. So let's say I had some flashcards and my question was 20 minus 2. Then I'm going to use my number line from 20, and it's a minus, so I'm going to jump back. 1 jump, 2 jumps, and my answer is 18. Let's say I had the question 15 minus 3. I'm going to go to 15. I'm going to jump back 3. 1, 2, 3. And the number I land on is 12. So the answer is 12. Let's say my question was 16 minus 8. I'm going to go to 16. I'm going to jump back 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to have the answer 8. Or you might just know on the top of your head, 16 is the double of 8, so the answer would have to be 8. That would be a mental math strategy, my friends. For addition, I can do it exactly the same way, except I'm going to jump forwards to add to get a bigger number. So if my question was 10 plus 8, I like 8s, I guess, so let me pick a different question. 10 plus 3. Then I would start at 10. I'm going to jump forward 3. 1, 2, 3. The number I land on is my answer at 13. If my adding question, oh, the green doesn't like to erase on this. I have to push pretty hard. If my adding question was 9 plus 6, then I'm going to start at 9, and I'm going to bounce up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and my answer is 15. If my addition question was 12 plus 5, then, oh, I need a plus sign, sorry. Then I would start at 12, and I'm going to bounce up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my answer is 17. Now, the only place it's tricky for addition, and you can do it either way, but it's faster if you always start at the bigger number, If my question was 8 plus 5, sorry, I wanted to write that a different way. If my question was 5 plus 8, then I could start at the 5 and bounce up 8 times, or I could start at the 8 and bounce up 5 times. I'm going to get to the same number. So 5 plus 8 with 8 bounces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, gets me to number 13. But if I start at 8 and I bounce up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it also gets me to the answer 13. In addition, it doesn't matter which number I start with when I'm using a number line to bounce forwards, but in subtraction, I'm always going to start at the bigger number and bounce backwards to take away the smaller number. So that's how we're using our number line, my friends, as a strategy to do our questions between 10 and 20. And we can even use our number line, of course, we know, for any questions that answer in from 10 until 0 as well. Good. Our last strategy, then, my friends, then is more of a practice. So you can do some practice questions. If you have 3 dice, you can do some practice questions with 2-part addition or 3-part addition. So if I rolled this, I could write down the question 2 plus 3 plus 3 equals, or I could know that 3 and 3 is 6, and I would have 2 plus 6, and then I might count on 6, 7, 8 to get my answer. And the answer is 8 for both of those questions. If I rolled again and I got a bunch of 6s, that's what I would really like to see. There we go. Then I would have the question 3 plus 5 plus 6. Or I could maybe do some combination. If I know that 6 plus 6 is 12, then I would know that 6 plus 5 is 11. So I would have 11 plus 3 more, and then I can use my counting on strategy with 3 from 11, 12, 13, 14 to get my answer, and it's the same answer there. Nice job, my friends. So you can practice with some flashcards, some dice. A set of 3 dice will give you answers that go up to 18 because 6 plus 6 is 12, and 6 more is 18. So you can do questions up to 18. You can grab some cards and just randomly flip them over and go 8 plus 7, do your questions. You can take some cards and randomly do subtraction questions by flipping them over and then arranging them so the biggest number goes at the front. So if I got this one, I could say 7 minus 6 equals, and then I would have my equation. But if I got this question, 5 minus 8, I have to rearrange them to put the big number first for 8 minus 5 equals. So remember, in subtraction, you always take the small number away from the big number. 10 minus 6. You can't say 6 minus 10. That doesn't work the same. 10 minus 6. Or if you flipped these 2 cards, you would say 9 minus 5. If you flipped these 2 cards, you would say 10 minus 9. And if you flipped these 2 cards, you would say 8 minus 7. So just make sure when you're subtracting, you always have the bigger number written first, and you subtract the smaller number. So my friends, go ahead and practice some math strategies for addition and subtraction if you want to, for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes. Or you could just have joined me on this video and worked through, oh yes, I remember how to use those strategies to solve addition and subtraction questions to 20. Have a wonderful Friday and have a wonderful weekend.